But man, today we want to talk about, last time we talked about the three Hebrew children and we talked about Michael Jordan, okay? And so you probably want to go back and find out how those guys had anything in common. But, I think one of the things that we're going to learn today is that it's so easy to change course when the going gets tough. Now, we're trying to look at these defining moments, and we want to have an amazing 2021. And so we're sitting here, right here at the kind of the front half of January, and we're like, you know what, we're just getting started. And a lot of us have a lot of zeal when we first get started. We're really dedicated and determined when we first get started. And maybe some of you've tried, you turned over some new leaves, you wrote down some goals, and maybe you're feeling pretty good right now about some of those things because you're kind of staying steady with them. And I want to encourage you, keep going, okay? Keep going, don't give up. But there's always these temptations. And I think shortcuts is one of the greatest temptations in my own personal life. It's like, you know what? Let's just take this shortcut. Now, when I drive, I love a good shortcut. Okay, I just have to be honest and admit it. I love back roads. I kind of grew up somewhat in the country, and so there were a lot of back roads that could get you almost anywhere you needed to go. And so, and my mom and dad knew most of those back roads. And so we traveled a lot of those back roads growing up as a kid. So it's my mom and dad's fault. That's probably who I'll blame it on. But man, people will say, I have no idea how we got here. How many turns and stuff did we do? I'm like, well, it's a shortcut. All right. It was a back road. We took a shortcut to get there. All right. And I think shortcuts are tempting for all of us because many times they feel like, okay, I'll go this way and I'll get there, keyword, faster. See, I think what's so tempting about a shortcut is there's a belief that somehow it's going to make the journey easier, faster, better, less painful, less difficult. So I'm going to take this shortcut. Right? And it's the beauty of the shortcut. The problem is with so many things in life, shortcuts don't always deliver what they promise, okay? Many times I've taken a shortcut that wasn't truly faster. It wasn't better. It wasn't the better option. It didn't do what I thought it was going to do. And there's times I've just totally regretted, all right, getting off that main road and getting over here on a faraway path that really wasn't something I was familiar with. But at the time, it felt so right. When the traffic is lined up bumper to bumper on the interstate and you see those red lights, right? Come on now, tell me if I got anybody. All right, tell me in the comments if this is you, okay? Because this will make me feel like I'm not the only one out there. But you're driving down the interstate and you see all these red lights in front of you. And if you've got your GPS on, the little notification pops up and it says delay 30 minutes. And you're like, oh my word. I can tell you the first instinct in my mind is exit. All right, and it's just like, oh, there's an exit. All right, pile off the exit as fast as we can. And then figure out where there's another way that's going to alleviate. Now, sometimes that's a good decision. But there are so many times I'm like, you know what? I could have been there an hour ago if I hadn't got off that stupid exit. If I'd have just stayed with it, it was just backed up for a little while. It was just coming to a stop for a few minutes, and then it was going to move on. All right, but many times I never know that because I bail too quick looking for a shortcut. And that's just come on now, leave me a comment here if that's you, okay? But if you're like me, sometimes that is your tendency because I'm not a very patient person, and so I'm looking for something that's going to get me there faster, something that's going to be better, something that's going to be quicker, and something I can avoid this painful process here, and I can avoid that by going over here. But there's just so many things in life where we just can't avoid the difficult places. We can't avoid the delays. We can't avoid those moments. And sometimes it's better that we don't. And I can't even believe I just said that. But there are times when endurance is forged in these moments when we just have to stay the course. I heard somebody talk about endurance one time, and it says it's the ability to bear up under. the ability to bear up under. It's the idea that I can stay under the load. And I get stronger as I stay under the load. But I'll be honest with you, and I've already kind of, shared with you, I don't like that. I want out. If there's a better way, let's get out from underneath the load and let's go find that better, shorter, less labor intensive, right? Something that doesn't feel so hard and so difficult. Let's find that way. And that's a huge temptation, but honestly, there are things that are born out of staying the course and enduring and just hanging with it. Paul told Timothy, he says, endure this fight, this battle that's here. Timothy, I want you to endure it like a good soldier. This course that you're set on for your life, endure it. Endure it. And there's just places in our life, and wouldn't you agree that we just have to endure? And we can't get out of it. We can't snap our fingers and it's over. There's no shortcut, and at least there may be a lot of signs that say exit here, shortcut there. But there's just something that if we're honest and we pray and we seek God's wisdom, we know that's not true. It feels true, but it's not true. And we just need to stay the course. And I was thinking about times in my life, not on the highway, but in my actual life, not driving, but in my actual life, when it's just easy to bail. And I wrote down a few things. I think feeling pressure causes us to want to bail. Sometimes it's in peer pressure. Everyone else is doing this, and so I need to stop doing what I'm doing and go do what everybody else is doing. Have you ever felt that pressure? Then boy, you understand that temptation to just, we're just gonna do it the way everybody else does it. It's just easier that way. Okay. And staying the course is sometimes very difficult. Condemnation. Man, when I'm getting condemned for how I'm behaving, acting, or maybe what I believe, or whatever, all kinds of categories we could put this in. But when I'm feeling judged, okay, about these things in my life, and I'm feeling like somebody else is condemning me for being the way I am, it's really easy to say, you know what, I'm going to change the way I am then, and I'm going to do something different because I don't like feeling this way. I don't like feeling like somebody else is judging me or somebody else is condemning me. I don't like that, so I'm going to bail, and I want to find a different way. I think also guilt. Sometimes guilt slides into our lives. And guilt and shame, they're kind of these sisters that many times go hand in hand. As I feel a sense of guilt or I feel a sense of shame, I just want out of that situation. I don't want to feel guilty anymore. I don't want to feel this overhanging sense of shame in my life. And so how do I stop feeling that way? Well, I'm going to look for a shortcut. Because I can't bear up underneath that. But even Scripture teaches us that guilt has a purpose. True guilt should drive us to Jesus. True guilt should drive us to the Lord and say, man, I need to get this right with you. I need to fix this. I need you to help me with this. That's what true guilt should do. All right. Now, false guilt, that's another whole topic. But the idea that we just have all of these in our lives, and I've just listed a few, but I think we can all think of some in our own lives that we would drive us to look for exit ramps, shortcuts. Let me just get off of this path and let's go find a different path. Because right now this path just became super hard. It just became super hard. I love watching shows on TV that have to do with really hard to do challenges. So like I'll watch climbing Everest, or I'll watch, the triathlons. I love watching those. But I watched this eco challenge. All right. Bear Grylls, he had this show about the eco challenge, and I watched this. It's pretty fascinating. I really enjoyed, and there were teams of people, and they were racing in some of the hardest terrain ever. And they had these legs of the race, and they had to stop and sleep or stop and rest for so many hours, and then they could take off again. And every leg of the race was combined with all kinds of unbelievable challenges. Maybe it was water, maybe it was cold, maybe it was a severe hike, or it was a bicycling down a muddy, really just bad area or whatever. But all of it had these amazing, difficult challenges, rowing and all kinds of things that were components of this race. But nevertheless, as I was watching this moment that's happened, this team, they took off and they were in they were in a boat and they were all rowing, and they had a couple guys that were good rowers, and especially one. This was his strong suit, was rowing, and they took off like bullets. I mean, they left every other team in the dust because this guy, and man, this guy was just giving it all he had. And they were just, I mean, they're pumping. And Bear Grylls makes this comment. Okay, he's up in a helicopter, hovering over them, watching them in the water just blow these other teams away. And he says, you know what? I wonder if they're going to exhaust all of their energies at the very beginning of this leg of the race. And then they'll have nothing left to give as the race continues. I wonder if that'll happen. Well, Bear was right on target. Because these guys, they got their boat to the shore, they drug it on the shore, and now they started having to do this very long, grueling hike through the jungle, uphill in heat. Okay, it was hot. And so this guy who has just been giving it all he's got for miles on the river now, and I mean, he's exhausted from all of the excursion that he's just put, his exertion he's just done here. He's a little ways into this, and he starts having heat. Just the heat starts getting to him. And his system starts shutting down as if he was having like heat exhaustion. And the next thing you know, man, they're off to the side and they're trying to get him cooled off. And he's like, I just can't go any further. And he's laying over on the side trying to get his body temperature down so he can find the strength to go on. And all these other teams that they had just left in the dust are now passing them, one after the other. They're passing them. They're passing them. Well, finally, this guy just gets enough energy to get up and start moving again. And so here they go. And their navigator says, hey, I found a shortcut. And we'll go across this shortcut. And when we do, it'll cut off a big portion of this hike. And that'll reserve our energies, and we'll get there before the cutoff time so we can go to the next leg of the race. Well, you already know what happened, right? The shortcut wasn't really a shortcut. Oh, it was shorter, all right. But it would take them through some of the densest jungle. There was no path cut. They would be bushwhacking all the way through. They would have to cross rivers, climb up over rocks. It was unbelievable. And they had to do this with a guy who's barely making it. Well, needless to say, they barely made it. They were the last team to arrive at the station that evening, and their race very soon was completely over with. And when I was putting this together, I kind of thought about that, and I thought sometimes we can be the same way. All the pressure of wanting to win, all of the guilt from feeling like, man, maybe we didn't manage this well. We feel stupid. All the other teams passing them. All of those things contributed to this moment of a decision that they made. Okay? It was this shining moment when they decided we're going to take the shortcut. And that defined the rest of their race. That moment, that one moment. But now come on now, let's think about it. It was that decision that cost them. But they would have never been to that decision point had they not made a lot of other decisions before they got there that affected their choice right there. And I'm telling you, it's true of me and it's true of you. These defining moments are not the ones that are seen in the spotlight. Our defining moments are all of those little decisions that we make along the way, to where when we get to this moment where the shortcut sign is offered, and when it seems like everything in us, our emotions and our exhaustion and our guilt and our shame and all of the things that are compounding on us, screaming at us, take the shortcut. I mean, it's all just screaming, shortcut, shortcut. And at the moment, everything that should be flashing yellow signs to us and caution, 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 stay the course, stay the course, stay the course. Suddenly, those things are like non-existent, and all we can see is shortcut. Hey, I have a way to get out of this mess I've created for myself. I can get out of this mess by taking this shortcut, and no one will ever know. Okay, it's like the rabbit racing the turtle, right? I'll just take the shortcut, and it's like this doesn't work. It really doesn't work. And so, sadly, sometimes all it takes is just a few people to change the direction that we're on, to change that trajectory. Sometimes it just takes a few mistakes and we bail. Sometimes we just start too fast. Sometimes we just don't think as we go through. But these choices, sometimes a bad decision here creates another bad decision and another bad decision. Next thing, we're snowballing with bad decisions. And so, boy, as we start 2021 and we're rolling, I want to encourage you, these moments really matter. These decisions that you're making right now really matter. The decision you make to, I think I'll skip today. It matters. The decision that you make, I think I'm just, I'm not where I wanted to be by now. I'm just not getting this done. It's not working out the way I thought it would. I think I'll just quit. I think I'll just do something different. I'll take a shortcut. It matters. It matters. And just simply staying the course is so many times the right decision to make. Just stay the course. It's not time to get distracted in your marriage. It's not. Things may be hard right now, but now's not the time to get distracted with somebody else. Grass is not greener on the other side. Sometimes it's like, I just want to give up on my kids. They're just not, no matter what I say, no matter what I do, they don't seem to be listening. Things don't seem to be going. I just give up. I'm just going to quit. I'm just not saying anything anymore. Just forget it. No. Stay the course. Stay the course. All these people at work, they're getting ahead. They cheat and they do this and they lie and they fudge and they say this on the report and that's not really true. And you know what? I'm going to start doing that because I'm never going to get ahead at work if I don't do that. Stay the course. Stay the course. I'm just telling you, in the end, it's going to matter. It really is going to matter. And these things that you think are going to get you somewhere many times are only going to crash your life. And one of the points I want to give you today, last time I told you that defining moments are more than dedication. This time I'm going to tell you that defining moments are more than habits. Okay? It's not enough just to say, I'm just going to create a habit. If I do this thing for 70 days in a row, I'll create a habit and then I'll just roll with it. No. It's more than a habit. It's more than just trying to be disciplined long enough to develop a habit. This is a point. You have to believe that your choices matter. You do. You have to believe that the choice you're making today really, really matters. It matters for you. It matters for your family. It matters for your kids. It matters for your job. It matters in eternity. You have to like, you know what? This is not just, I want to develop a new habit. No. This is what I do right now in this choice. It matters. It may feel like a small thing, but it's not. It matters. It really matters. And I just don't know how to say that too strongly enough. As so many people make decisions along the way, and then all of a sudden they arrive at a shortcut. And everything they've decided up to this point led them, tempted them, and made this shortcut sound so attractive. And it was really the worst thing they could have ever done, the worst decision they could have ever made.